Okay, who wants... let's talk a little bit about what we did last game.
We weren't trying to take over the world?
No, that's tonight.
Oh. We got ahead of ourselves. Sorry. Last game, we were building the world.
Well, let's see. The first half of last game was all about world building, and then the last half was about us settling some affairs at the house. We all leveled. Some of us got to try out our new abilities. And we had a newcomer join the party. By all means, jump in whenever anyone wants to.
I'm still eating, sorry.
So we hung around the house for a little bit, got settled, newcomer joined us, and by the end of the night, we decided to take a look at this town that has appeared out of the mist surrounding our mansion. And that's what I got.
I think we actually ever got to the actual town itself.
No, we set off to explore.
Yeah, that's where we ended last game, was we were setting off to explore the town.
Okay.
And you covered it just fine. We didn't really play much last game. We did more town building. I shouldn't say world building. Town building.
Yes, and I'm leaving some of those details from the world building out just to see what's become of them.
Okay. So I believe several of you set off to go explore the city. The map should be updated now with slightly clear white blocks over various buildings.
Ooh.
And when you click on those, it tells you what the building is.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, I see.
We have good shit. Our house. Oh shit! Are we in the middle of town?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's the opening line that Gideon says when we walk out. Oh shit! We're in the middle of town. This wasn't here yesterday. We weren't here yesterday.
It was probably in another.
Where are we? Everyone's just having fun going around clicking stuff.
Question: are you all taking your young ward with you, or just leaving him?
Oh, our ward.
So I'm pretty sure that you guys said that you were going to the tavern. So whether or not you take Peggy with you is a choice.
I think leaving Peggy in the house with all those magical items is probably just as dangerous.
That would be Gideon's call because it's Gideon's award.
She's all of our wards.
No. You took responsibility. No.
You really don't want me taking responsibility for a young child. I barely have responsibility for myself.
Listen, I barely even know any one of you. I am not taking charge of a ward.
Even more reason to start things out on the right foot. Taking care of a young, impressionable child.
I literally just learned that I can summon a dragon creature.
I've died twice in the last 48 hours. Are you sure you want to trust a child in my care?
You want to trust a child in my care?
You can summon a dragon. You're a better protector than I am.
You don't even know who I am.
No, I don't, but I know who I am.
Okay. What's y'all's passive perceptions?
Cecil has taken Peggy by the hand and
I'm
just
about to
walked out
say.
the door.
What's y'all's passive perceptions? Because Peggy can clearly hear you arguing about how no one wants her.
But
Oh,
Cecil
no.
has already taken Peggy by the hand and walked out the door.
Good job,
Then yell for
Cecil.
them.
My
It's
passive
one of
perception
those.
is 12.
That's funny because it's one of those situations that they're not like. It's not that they don't want her. It's that they don't feel like they're safe people for her to be around.
You are,
you
but
know?
there's not a lot of other choices.
I also feel like that they're arguing as they're like holding the door open for Peggy and like walking out around her, and like no one's made an effort to like leave her behind, and they're both kind of like cognizant of where she is. But honestly, I was just taking a minute to update my notes because I suck at taking notes. Oh, that was one thing Gideon did. He when he was doing his
He made tonics.
he made tonics, and he actually taught Peggy a little bit about what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
But-
as
Go.
Cecil and Peggy are walking down the road, he's trying to take her mind off of possibly the conversation she just overheard by trying to get her to talk about the circus that she grew up in, because Cecil will say that he's now, young lady, I oddly enough, in all of my travels, have never been to that many circuses. What can you tell me about it? What type of attractions did you have? Just give me an example of what did you have?
We had elephants.
To give her something to rattle off about
and she
while they're
will.
talking.
Yeah, she will explain. Just a very classic circus. Big striped tents. Ringmaster. They had elephants. They had lions, who definitely were very vicious and not just big house cats. They had, they had clowns. They had, they had a bearded lady. They had a tattooed man. Trapeze artists, all sorts. As you talk, she'll actually let go of your hand, and she will find a couple of like small rocks on the ground and begin juggling them to show off.
Cecil will be significantly impressed because he can't juggle.
Gideon will keep half a eye out on Peggy and Cecil as they wander. Speaking of wander, DM, would it be helpful to you if we put ourselves on the map to keep track of where we're going?
Yeah, that'd be great. Or at least one of you.
I'm huge. Let me see.
You're a
something.
party of 5. Congratulations.
Little do we know that this whole entire campaign is just based on voices inside of Gideon's head.
Oh dear Lord. I've finally gone mad. Takes another swig of booze. Have I emerged from the front of the house over here?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a nice town. There is an alehouse directly across the street from our home. And he immediately starts heading in that direction.
And there he goes.
So, to no one's real surprise, Gideon's going to head to the Cackling Crow.
Well, at least we know where to go looking if we ever lose him.
Yes, well, see if we can find something a bit more family friendly, as it were.
Crimson's following Gideon.
Oh, jeez.
You know how a broken person always follows the broken person?
It's the
Well, the
worst.
broken
Yeah.
person is currently following the broken person.
May I have my mouse? Thank you. All right, so half of you are heading to the tavern. Are the other half
Yep.
following?
That sounds about right.
Danielle looks at Cecil. Let's go this way. Points the opposite direction.
We'll head the opposite direction.
Okay.
Guess we need another mouse, and we need another mouse. We need another token.
There you go.
Woof.
It's over here, the wagon hitch.
Okay.
Head over towards that.
Sure. Can one person in each group roll me a d20?
Hell,
Crimson
yeah.
can roll since Gideon's leading.
6.
Yeah, you want to roll that?
Yes, hello. Okay, so you head to the wagon hitch. It is a large feast hall. And this is, it's not, yes, it's medium size. I would say probably the size of an average restaurant. Except there's no, like, small tables for each individual to sit, but instead long communal tables, running almost the length of the building. In the center there are, baskets of bread, small, ceramic containers of butter of some description. The room smells warm and spicy, like something very comforting is always kind of being cooking. You smell bread. There are lots of groups here. Actually, this is not an empty place. As you walk in, you get some looks as you walk in. Mostly at the adults in the group. No one seems to really even care about Peggy. And yeah, you
Perception check. Are they reading Cecil as an adult or as a child?
sure.
Let me see if I can grab that. Put that away.
You have no clue.
5.
Height-wise, Peggy, height-wise, are we about the same height, or?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
She might be a little bit taller than you, actually. Because gnomes are like Liam sized, so.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, but
Danielle looks like an au pair.
That was what I was afraid of.
It is not 9 o'clock yet.
So, yep, as you walk in, you're kind of an older woman, kind of salt and pepper hair pulled back into a messy bun, wearing skirt, a very serviceable bodice, an apron. Kind of will motion to the tables. Sit anywhere you want.
Thank you.
Kind of already eaten, but we can sit and be social.
Yep, I'm going to pick a table that's a little bit off center of the room. Just like more towards one of the edges.
Gonna sit and people watch.
Pretty much.
Yeah, roll me perception checks. Are you guys, like, keeping a good hand on Peggy, or are you gonna let her wander? Because her instinct is to wander away from you.
I'm gonna keep a good eye on her.
An eye or a hand?
A hand.
Okay.
Am I doing perception first, or am I doing a grappling?
I think you're doing grappling first.
Okay. Would that be athletics?
Athletics.
And she's gone.
And she's gone. You can see her. She's definitely, like, her idea of getting to know people does not seem to be sitting in a corner and watching them. She is immediately sitting at people's tables next to them and starting conversations and doing, like, small little card tricks, things like that. She's starting to being a little bit of a social butterfly.
Little
That
ambassador.
Going to be a con man when she grows up.
When she grows up, she's raised in the circus.
I was just gonna say that, and I was like, she's raised in a traveling circus. She is the conest of cons.
She's gonna walk out with more gold than all of
Would
us
you
had
guys
going
leave
in.
Danielle to her delusions for 5 minutes?
No.
Yeah,
You
and
still want perception also, or
yep, roll perceptions if you like.
17.
14. You're both kind of distracted by the creature in the corner. Who seems to have an octopus for a head and is playing the accordion with the tentacles on his face. And some sort of stringed lute or guitar with his hands. He's performing his own duet.
lean over to Danielle and I go, I may still be recovering from my little jaunt across the room earlier. I know it did upset my stomach somewhat, but you do see that fellow in the corner with the octopi on his face, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It must be some talent to play 2 instruments at once.
Yes, okay. Well, as long as you see him too, it's a new world, yes.
Pointed ears and all.
Takes his book out and immediately he's just sketching. Just sketching like mad.
And we've lost Cecil. Danielle is now trying a lot harder to keep an eye on the child. At least she's, sticks out in a crowd, hopefully.
A little bit, but not a lot. As you notice, she's moving from table to table. And this place is crowded. It's definitely like a dinner rush. A young woman kind of approaches you, gives you a grin. Right, what will you be having? The dinner for tonight is your choice of a fresh in-season salad with some roasted vegetables on the side, or stew.
A salad with roasted vegetables, please.
Fantastic. You also have a choice of white wine, red wine, or beer.
White.
Fantastic. She does not look surprised by your order and looks to Cecil, who is sketching.
Cecil is just completely lost. He's just, if you don't
Since
nudge
he's
him,
paying-
he's just not even going to answer.
Since he's paying no attention, he'll have the stew.
Stew indeed. And she kind of heads off.
just as he gets like a good image of this artist, it's like turns his head to play an instrument. And he's like, "Don't get that bad angle." Oh, he starts trying to get a different angle, and it's just the picture doesn't look right. And
Okay, perception check. Where is this child?
Perception check. The child is juggling a set of spoons at one of the inner tables. Has gotten a little bit of a crowd watching her with at least amusement. A large gentleman with almost like a cow-like face, blue furred, is watching with some amusement as she is juggling and asking, questions here and there. He seems to be keeping an eye on her.
I'm going to get up and go join that crowd.
Okay.
Cecil's not going anywhere. The Bracers will find him sitting there when he gets back.
Sir. Okay. Go join the crowd. Yeah. There's music. It is warm. There is a bard performing and a child juggling spoons. Okay. We will cut to the other group. What are you two doing? Gideon and Crimson.
So 2 broken men walk into a bar.
The bar is pretty quiet this time.
I mean, as long as they're not 2 broke men, I suppose the bar won't mind.
That's a good point. How much money do I have? Why does my gold say -5?
I don't know. Why? Do you owe someone?
I apparently owe myself some gold? I don't...
You probably tried to subtract 5 from your total and it just overrode it with -5.
Okay, I don't know how much gold I have, so...
let's see how much Penny has.
Oh,
You put an IOU in your pocket. Oh.
right, so our group has a little tradition. New guy buys the drinks. I pat Crimson on the shoulder.
Crimson just shrugged his shoulders. He's like, I guess.
So you guys walk into the tavern. It is quiet. A couple of quiet conversations happening here and there. One table in particular kind of looks up at you as you enter. Pale-skinned woman with dark hair definitely gives you a look, Gideon. Watching you for a moment before kind of moving her eyes. You notice that this is a bit of an odd-shaped tavern in that in itself, everything is in multiples of 13. There are 13 kind of pillars around the center of the room. 13 lanterns and 13 tables. All around are, horseshoes, there's a couple of rabbit's foots. There's at least one 4-leaf clover you notice kind of embedded on the floor as you walk in.
Huh.
You notice that there's 13 of everything? Like, I apologize, but I'm one of those kinds of guys that when I walk into a place, I tend to count things. Anyways, there's about 13 of everything here. 13 tables, 13 pillars, 13...
Drinks bought by the new guy. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I head straight to the bar without visually acknowledging the oddity. Although I definitely take note of everything.
Mm-hmm. Tall, broad-shouldered gentleman kind of approaches you, leans a bit, puts the rag that he was using to buff the counter over his shoulder and kind of just looks at you, arches an eyebrow.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? I look over at Crimson. Did you see any sun out there?
It is very much evening.
Good evening, barkeep. I will have your house specialty. We're relatively new in town, apparently, despite living in the middle of it. And we'd like to get to know some of the local watering holes.
Kind of nods, turns behind himself, or turns around, grabs a mug, uses a tap to get you basically a mug of beer and puts it in front of you. $5 copper.
You can open a tab under Crimson.
Yeah,
And
I guess you can open up a tab underneath my name, according to him.
And according to you?
I'll take a mug and pay him the total that he has for.
You can pay him a silver. So he hands you a mug of beer.
Thank you.
I lift my mug up to Crimson. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
To new life among the dead.
Yeah, sure.
And we drink to that.
Are you always loud?
Loud? I shrug.
Okay, so I'll take that as a yes. Okay.
No reason to be silent. Quiet.
Well, yep. Actually, there are certain circumstances. where
No,
you
of
can
course
always-
there are. This is one of them.
But we're in a heaven where ears are always listening to all conversations.
So, I'm not saying anything that's a surprise to... I look around the tavern. Is anyone paying attention to us or seem confused by my toast?
Perception or insight, whichever you would prefer.
Yes. I'm not good at either. Let's go insight. Oh, a natural 20.
The woman who clocked you when you came in is definitely got her head tilted and is listening to you. She's not being very overt, but you just kind of catch it.
I notice, but I don't say anything as I sip my beer. See, no one cares.
Yeah, okay. Yep. You're gonna be one of those difficult ones. Gotcha. I'll notate that. Anyways, good sir, as my abrasive friend stated, we're new to the town.
Abrasive.
Drink your beer. I bought you the beer. Drink the beer.
I am. It's damn good beer.
And my question to you is, as you can tell, we're fairly new and know absolutely nothing about this town. Any information that you could provide to us?
Kind of nods and looks you over. Some?
where I come from, you know, typically there's some kind of rule of law or laws. Is there anything that we should keep our eyes out for? Things we shouldn't do? I mean, besides your basic don't steal, don't kill, all that fun stuff, but is there anything that else we should know? Kind of like traditions, you know, you don't do this, this person won't mess with you, those kinds of things.
He kind of looks you over. Stay on the walls. Have a dinner at the Wagon Hitch. It's always good food. If you need something, go to the south. There's we have good shit. It's a good general good store.
Wow. Like a fine grocery kind of thing.
General farming, rope, the sort of things you adventurers always need. Kind of
Gotcha.
side eyes the young woman at the table who takes a sip of her wine.
Do I notice this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You've clocked maybe you're not the only adventurer in here.
Oh yeah, Crimson definitely takes note.
Mm-hmm. Don't murder anyone. Don't steal.
The normals. Yes, I get that.
Don't wander off into the woods.
Is there something in the woods?
Just don't wander into them and you won't have to find out.
Fair enough.
Wise words.
Crimson starts sipping on his beer.
Mm-hmm.
Another question. Trying to phrase this appropriately. I take it not everyone isn't from around here. Is that a common thing?
Most people aren't from around here. Bureau brings in people. Some people just find themselves here, wandering out of the woods, and find themselves here. People get lost. Interdimensional travel can be tricky.
Interdimensional travel, you say?
He gives a nod. He does not elaborate.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Have you heard anyone enter this city claiming to have recently died?
He nods. There's a few of you.
Oh, not uncommon. I give Crimson a knowing look and take another sip of beer.
The Bureau takes people where they can get them. Convince them. Gives a shrug.
So the Bureau maintains a presence in this place?
He nods. Yeah. They don't run the place, but yeah.
Speaking of places, what is this place? What is the name of this town?
This is Nightfall.
Charming. Well, sir, I'm Gideon Belmont. I am one of the residents of the house across the street, the big one. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
He kind of looks at you.
Insight check, does he recognize my name?
Sure.
Damn it, he's unreadable.
Absolute mystery.
Your ale is the finest I've had, Mr.
You can call me Mac.
Mac. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Gives you a nod.
If you wouldn't mind, sir, I'll reach into my pocket and pull out one of my gold pieces and lay it on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You can put that tab under my name. And if you would, please send a beer over to the ladies' table by the door.
He takes your coin and pockets it, gives you a nod. Vala drinks wine, and you can take it to take it to her yourself. And he will put a kind of sturdy glass of red wine in front of you.
I arch my brow, but I can appreciate a bartender who knows his patrons' drink preferences. Well, it's that kind of bar. Fair enough. I'll take another sip of beer, stand up, pat Crimson on the shoulder again before lifting up the glass and turning to walk over to the woman's table.
Okay. She looks at you as you approach.
Forgive the presumption. I lift the glass of wine and set it on the table. I couldn't happen but notice that a certain look about you. I'm very new to town, and I get the impression that you might be as well. I'd hope to buy you a drink.
I'm not, but your drink is appreciated. And she takes the wine and sips it. Watching you.
Well, then, the first thing you should know about me is that I'm a terrible read of people. So if I'm bothering you, please, by all means, tell me to shove off, and I certainly will.
I'm not exactly shy about telling people when to shove off.
Something we have in common, then.
She's going
I put
to look you over.
Ooh.
So, later than 1700? My gods, I hope later than 1700. She just kind of eyeballs you. You feel very seen.
Oh, boy. Now, if I remember correctly, we recently just got back from our adventure, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to
Nope.
really, Nope, okay.
Gideon has also been avoiding the bathtub, so...
Yeah, and I'm aware of that, so I'm not, in her space. I'm very much on the opposite side of the table. And I grin a little bit and place a hand on my chest. 1700s? No, I am glad to say that I hail from a much later place in history, which apparently is common for folks around here. Being from places in history, I mean.
Certainly from being from places in history. Would have... How much later?
I would be happy to share, if you would be so kind as to accept my presence at your table.
She will lean forward and kick a chair out for you, sliding it forward.
I instinctively reach a hand out to catch the back of it. incline my head to her as I sit down across from her and set my beer on the table. I have the distinguished honor of passing away on the eve of the year of our Lord, 1899. I wish I could say that I heard the bells strike midnight of the new century, but admittedly I was a bit well into my cups. And well into the alley. And well on my way to my demise, apparently. It was a rather low point in my life.
You wouldn't be the first Belmont to die in a gutter drunk.
Do I take it I'm not the first Belmont that you've met, then?
You are not. I'm quite familiar with the family.
The more time I spend afield, the more I realize my family tree has far more branches than I was aware of.
We have a tendency to get trimmed.
That I am well familiar with. Forgive me, mate. Might I ask your name?
Vola. Belmont. You can roll a history check with advantage if you'd like.
You said what kind of check?
A history check with
Yes.
advantage.
19.
That's really good. You remember vaguely looking at a family tree, and V names were really popular in the Belmont family. There was a family of them in about 1650s. And your line definitely came from that one. But there were not many of, they're like 5 V-named siblings, and one of them survived to to propagate the family line. The rest did not.
That's about right. At that introduction, my smile kind of falters a little bit. Still smiling, just that moment of, oh. Well, isn't that just coincidence? 2 Belmonts walk into a bar.
I'm surprised the bar is still standing after 10 minutes.
Probably on account of all the omens they have plastered about the place.
Probably why man has so many good luck charms.
I inclined my head again. Now, I know in my time period, to the best of my knowledge, I was the last of our family line. So I wonder, would that make you an aunt or a grandmother?
Aunt. I did not have children.
Shall I call you Auntie Vala, then? With a grin that shows I'm obviously just poking a bear.
She looks at you and arches an eyebrow. If you'd like.
Oh, dear heavens, no. Good on you turning that back on me.
I didn't think you'd dare.
So if I might ask, how long have you been in this place?
Time is not quite what it seems here. Give or take 2 years.
And in that time, have you learned much of our family?
There's always a Belmont to fight monsters.
Huh.
And many
I'm
of
not
us
sure.
do not go quietly into that dark night.
I'm not sure if I find that reassuring or depressing. Perhaps a little of both. Well, let's hear it for the Belmonts. We do not go gently into that good night. I lift my ale cup.
She'll raise a glass and clink it with you.
I'll lean back, drink, and mull this over for a moment in case anyone else wants to jump in.
Sir, let's actually switch to the other group. So we have Cecil trying to draw a mind flayer who is actively playing an accordion with his face.
Jeez.
Cecil, roll me a sleight of hand with advantage. It's very stick figure-y. It's just not coming out.
It's okay. Anybody that... So when Danielle walks back over to the table, you're going to realize that I have assumed that you have been there the entire time. I've been carrying on the conversation with you the entire time. So...
You couldn't order your own meal, but you could talk to me for 20 minutes while I wasn't there.
Oh, I've been
Sounds
talking
about
about what I've been drawing out the entire time. Rambling on. Oh, this is just and the features. Oh, it's almost crustacean and it's very similar to this octopi I saw on this island, and it was just... What is Penny doing? Has tension gotten towards this
Penny has
position at all?
found, quote unquote, a hat and is passing it around. It is starting to get filled with coin, as she is definitely working with the octopus-faced man in some sort of unison, but she's like kind of like using his music to like accentuate her own performance of like juggling. So she's gone from she's put down the spoons and she's gone on to plates, which is being watched carefully by the older woman who was that invited you all in. She's not intervening yet, but Penny is definitely juggling about 4 plates and having a hat passed around, so that you can take the kid out of the circus.
Gone from amused to concerned. At this point, Cecil may I can roll if you want me to. May notice, in the time that like a plate has passed in front of his face, that Penny is juggling in front of them.
Oh, she has left you. You all went to the corner to like observe people. She decided that she would be doing her best observing from in the middle.
Well, no, but I'm saying is, when she's juggling a plate in front of him, that might be when Cecil notices that she's not there.
Yeah.
Danielle is, on the one hand, enjoying the show, and on the other hand, staying close enough that she can attempt to catch a plate. Should this, get interrupted, distracted, etc.
Sure. Well,
it's like she has every faith that Penny can juggle, as long as Penny is paying attention to juggling.
Well, Danielle, back at your table, your salad and white wine is brought. Cecil, in front of you is set a stew and a small mug of beer.
Gets put down, and Cecil goes, looks at that stew and the salad, looks at you and goes, "My dear, you must be hungry, famished. I'm sorry. If you were hungry, you should have said something. We could have gotten something eaten sooner." He's assuming this is all for you. Knowing that you ordered something for him. Goes back to drawing. I think at this point he may figure out Penny's not here. He goes, where is the child? Where is the child? Oh my. Oh, we need to do something about that.
Peggy catches the plates, carefully placing them down on the table, stacking them neatly, and gives a little bow. She grabs the hat, and heads over to the. She moves cautiously around the octopus-faced man, like she doesn't know, like she knows something that you don't about him. She moves cautiously, takes about half the coins, puts them in his, in his case, and then kind of moves very quickly away from him, and then shudders as she's about 5-10 feet away. Shakes her head like someone had just thrown a bucket of cold water on her, and she'll head back to you all.
Comes over and I'll be like, that was amazing. Quite the juggler. Not could do rocks, but plates. That's amazing. Did you know that fellow?
It's good form to give them, to make sure that you tip out your fellow performers. But no, I don't know him. He's a mind flayer.
What?
Right. So mind flayers are generally not him. Maybe, hopefully not. Right. So mind flayers are typically they belong in a hive mind and they eat brains. Humanoid brains. The tentacles wrap around your head and they just.
Cecil is writing this down, but kind of stops right at mid-word when you made that noise. Noise. It's like, and glances up.
Generally, they don't use
no one else is freaking out.
Generally, they don't use the tentacles to play accordion.
Well, this seems like a delightful chap. No one else seems to be nervous. So
no, but he definitely will talk in your head. That's a thing.
So just to talk in my head.
They're telepathic.
Oh, all right. I'll write that down too. And I'd like to talk with him. I don't think I could handle too much more tonight, but yes, I'll write that down. I must have a chat with the face accordion fellow. Yes.
His name is Clarence.
Clarence. Ooh, write that down. Clarence. I'm sure you must have worked up an appetite. Would you like me to get you something to eat?
No, I'm all set. I had some, and she points to the very large gentleman with the blue furred skin. Not Sfug. He made sure I ate before I performed.
Look of it, kind of like a. Obviously, I taught myself the fact that I was not paying attention at all, and hopefully you were type look.
Danielle comes back from where she was making. I vaguely apologize that we were juggling your tableware face to the woman who's let us in.
She does not seem concerned. She does not seem concerned or flustered now that the plates have been returned to the table unharmed.
Vaguely slightly apologetic. Probably should have asked before we were doing that.
Her look is
May
very
need to find
no
this
harm,
child
no
something to juggle.
no
Yeah.
harm, no foul. She does not seem. She seems unbothered by it.
Okay, cool.
What are Peggy's garments like, by the way? I mean, we found her in the cabin.
Yeah, she looks a bit of a mess. She looks like a ragamuffin. She definitely looks like she's very much got a street urchin vibe going on, which she probably used to her benefit extensively.
You said it's late in the day, so it's not like we can go find a merchant that's open.
Probably not. You can certainly try, but it seems a little bit late. Most of the craftsmen seem to be here eating dinner. Actually, several people are starting to leave and kind of filter out. I'm starting to empty out.
So Danielle will sit down and have her salad and
We'll sit down and have a rest, and our friend Danielle here must have been famished. Look at all the food she ordered. Let her sit down and have her meal, and then we'll head back. And I need you actually tell me a bit more about your circus you went to. I mean, they're all great performers like you. I can't believe I missed these things. Never been to a circus. It's boggling my mind. And he starts writing stuff down, and you notice he's also starting to sketch these horns a bit because he's and Nera. She's a not a dragonborn. She's a
Tiefling.
tiefling. Yeah. So he goes, "Do you mind if I draw your horns a bit? I've never seen someone of your He's trying to
Lineage?
point to her horns. Yes, your lineage. Do you mind if I draw those?
Sure. Usually they're prettier. I usually put ribbons on them. And she kind of gives, runs a hand over one of the curved horns.
And he sits there and he starts drawing the horns. And he shows her what he's drawing and shows her he was trying to draw the other folk.
Yeah, she's definitely fascinated by the drawings. So do you draw everyone?
I try to draw as much as I can and try to keep stuff in my journals. And I have a lot of journals of my travels. Admittedly, it's a little easier to draw when people aren't playing an instrument with their face. I can oddly say that's the first time I've ever had to deal with that.
You never met
Playing with their
anyone
arms, I
played
can
like
do.
harmonica or something? Or maybe like a recorder?
Oddly enough, I can do that. A concertina type thing with their face, that's a first. It's a first.
She nods.
You know? Practice, who knows? First time for everything. Practice. Who knows, this may be a whole new art form for me.
She kind of nods. I mean, I don't think you have the required limbs to play concertina with your face, but maybe with your fingers.
Oh no, I meant drawing people who do it.
Oh, I mean, I guess so.
I'm not really good with musical instruments myself. I think the most I can do is, he takes his the pen, which is basically just a long quill, and he kind of taps the desk or taps the table. As that's the extent of my musical talent. I can do it again. Watch. And that was the end of my concert. I hope you enjoyed it.
She claps and she'll slide a silver piece over to you.
Too kind, too kind.
Yeah, you guys notice that the place is starting to empty as you kind of finish your dinner. Danielle, do you explain to Cecil that the food is for him?
I have attempted to do so probably 3 times and he has been thoroughly absorbed with the circus and the sketching thereof.
Oh, he doesn't pick up on it. Probably halfway back, he's going to probably complain that his stomach, he probably should have got something to eat while he was there.
So you all notice that most of the people are filtering from the wagon hitch over to the Cackling Crow, the tavern across the way. Seems like they have a very symbiotic relationship. Clarence actually will pack up his instrument. Actually, he doesn't pack up his instrument. He slings his bag over his shoulder and continues to play his concertina with his face as he leads kind of almost a parade over to the bar.
He is quite popular.
Peggy continues to look baffled at the situation.
One cannot judge a book by its cover. I mean, after all, I did not always look like this.
She nods at that. I mean, he might have just always been a mind flayer. I mean, I guess they don't actually do it. Just do they hatch? I don't know how a mind flay is even made. Just shrugs.
Ooh, that is a question no one should answer her.
I don't think anyone at this table knows, thankfully.
I'm just waiting for Ferg to be there and just randomly come out with answers.
Ferg is not going to explain Ceramorphous to a fucking
I
6-year-old.
didn't think so, but, you know.
Ferg will politely redirect the 6-year-old if he was there.
Yeah.
When a
Wise verbal.
squid loves a sauropod.
You mean cerebellum.
That's true.
Dear.
Oh, it's okay. Peggy won't sleep. That's fine. No one is explaining to her, so she's good. She might ask someone else though. She seems to be puzzling this out. Like she's like, oh, obviously you two don't know. You didn't even know what a mind flayer was. She's like watching the stream of people heading to the bar. She's like, I bet I could find an answer there.
I'm sure it's getting late. We probably should head back before it gets too late. Plus, we have to find. We probably should find our wayward travelers as well. Probably getting into trouble. And we're probably going to have to be the ones to get them out of it. At the very least, pick them up and carry them home.
Danielle looks at Cecil and then at Peggy and then just like pick them up.
Okay, all right. Let me put it another way. We'll be the ones to find a wheelbarrow and push them home.
Vaguely possible. Okay.
Hire someone? I don't know. Drag them
there
home?
was some- Let's hope they're still conscious.
At least find them first. Then we can, go from there.
Peggy just looks at you, gives you
Okay.
kind of a wild grin, and she'll go, "Okay, I'll go find them," and then ducks out of the place. She just darts off.
Poof, gone.
Wait,
Poof,
oh,
child.
wait, it's not what I meant, it's not what I meant! Oh, the child. Probably should go after her, and picks up his quill and he's just, off.
All right. Yeah.
There's money on the counter.
Yeah.
and
The meal's not expensive. They're a silver each.
Danielle may have to ask the server if she can have a second serving of wine to go.
She does not serve wine to go, but she does point you over to the Cackling Crow, which is where they get all of their alcohol anyway.
Thank you.
And she is very sure that you can just, I think you can make it there without the wine. It's not that far.
It's less the distance and more the
Company.
sudden child. We literally met earlier this morning, I think. Maybe yesterday.
Yeah, tieflings have a bit of mischief in them.
Yes, I'm not yet familiar enough with said child to anticipate.
She'll turn up. If not, let the Bronze Lantern know. They like children and they will definitely turn the town upside down for them.
Thank you. Oh, is there somewhere that tomorrow I could stop and find her, at least a second outfit?
Yes, around the corner there is a tailor shop. It's not fancy, but they have decent enough outfits.
All right, thank you very much. Making sure they settled up, and then she is off across the way,
Sure.
also to the Cackling Crow.
Let's see. Triggers. Give me a moment. I'm just adding the tailor shop before I forget.
He was at the door talking to the bouncer. I am, yes, old enough. I have a mustache. I am not a child.
There is no bouncer.
I know. Just joking.
Later.
He's just rehearsing his what he'll say when he encounters said bouncer. Only to find there is no bouncer.
Give me a moment.
Please tell me Peggy went across the way, dodged through all the patrons in the bar, found Gideon, and just crawled in his lap.
Not
Please.
quite. Not quite. Crimson, what are you up to?
I'm sitting at a bar drinking.
Okay.
That's pretty much all he's doing right now.
Sure.
Still contemplating, death, how it happens, why he's here, how he gets stuck with someone like Gideon, all that stuff.
Mac is a comforting but quiet presence.
That's pretty much what Gideon's doing until, that's pretty much what Crimson's doing until Gideon's done
Okay.
and comes and gets him.
Sure.
Because obviously he's not going to intrude in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He was beaten if he did something like that, so he doesn't do that.
Gideon, you considering your conversation with Vale, or do you wander off?
Oh no, I've got more questions for her.
Sure.
Also, just kind of noticing as more people head into the bar.
It's starting to get full.
Oh, looks like the evening crowd is coming in.
She nods. I'm certain most everyone is finishing up at the wagon hitch with dinner.
Our eloquent bartender did recommend that place for us a good place to eat. This is very good beer.
The symbiotic. The wagon hitch doesn't serve very much alcohol, and in exchange, the Cackling Crow doesn't serve very much food during meal hours.
Oh, mutually profitable arrangement.
She nods. Them being so close, they either were going to be cutthroat with each other, or they were going to get along nicely.
Coexistence for mutual profit. Very respectable. Tell me, since I would assume being a Belmont you would be knowledgeable about such things, Where would one go if one was looking to make a bit of coin? I find my pockets surprisingly empty and this beer surprisingly good.
Towards the town hall, there's a notice board up. There's always someone looking for something. You can pick up odd jobs there. The bureau also provides a stipend, but I'd recommend the odd jobs.
More entertaining, I suppose.
Less entertaining, more profitable.
I see. Speaking of the bureau, are they responsible for your presence here as well?
Indirectly, but yes.
What do you know of them?
Probably as much as you do. They keep the balance, whatever that means. We go in. Usually there's some sort of evil that's outpaced what is normal for whatever realm we're being sent to. We eliminate the evil. It's not that much different than working.
Interesting. Any idea what they gain by preserving such balance? Not that one needs a nefarious reason to destroy monsters across the multiverse, was it?
She shakes.
But I'm curious.
She shakes her head. Not a clue. Honestly, I'm not the sort to go sniffing around. I get pointed towards a monster, I kill the monster.
I sip at my beer thoughtfully. And after 2 years here, it seems there are still plenty of monsters out there to be killed.
And after 400 years of Belmonts, there's still monsters to be killed?
Touché.
That's just in one dimension.
How many dimensions are there?
Infinite.
Oh dear Lord.
It hurts my head to think about, to be honest. Every time you make a choice, you spawn a different dimension. A dimension in which someone else made a different choice, or you made a different choice. And that's for everyone. So therefore, infinite.
I feel as though I heard a story from my mother once regarding such things.
Oh?
Well, my mother was a woman of science, and she was always fascinated by theoreticals. She was mostly into medicine and herbology and alchemy, but
Oh, witch. Okay.
I wouldn't go that far. She had no hut in the woods.
She studied.
She had a well-furnished alchemical laboratory.
You're starting to see a generational difference pop up as Vala just looks at you like, clearly that is a witch.
He is also starting to recognize that difference as he describes his mother's workings and realizes that, oh, this is just a witch with money. Okay. Ah. Well,
Was your mother
let's just say no one would dare call her that to her face.
was your mother the Belmont or your father? By blood, I mean.
My father.
Hmm. She's gonna lean back and look at you. So, one of Simon's ilk, I assume?
Simon, yeah. I assume that I would recognize
Oh, yeah.
Simon's name being a more direct lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, actually. Tyrion, that was my father's name, Tyrion Belmont. He was quite the hunter. The Wolf of Whitechapel, they used to call him.
They always compare us to wolves, don't they?
Yes. And now I start to shift in my seat a little bit. I'm noticing a lot of similarities there. Ancestral totem animal, or some such, perhaps. Or perhaps wolves are just what most people tend to think of when one imagines a hunter of things that go bump in the night.
She nods. Drains her drink. Right. I have work in the morning, and my party is probably waiting for me. We have plans to make.
Well, this was a very enlightening chat. I'm glad to have met your acquaintance. Where do you stay at town if I should have more questions for you?
Down the street from your place. Just ask for the bronze lanterns, and you'll be shown to our place.
Bronze lanterns. All right. One last question before you go. I'll reach into my tunic and draw out my amulet, the one with the Belmont crest that has some interesting properties.
Mm-hmm.
This was among the things set aside for me in my room. Would you happen to know who it belonged to?
She nods, looks at. She's gonna kind of just take it and put it in her hand. She's not gonna take it off of you, though. Probably Richter.
Richter. I want to do a check to see what I might know of Richter Belmont.
Sure.
Would that be history with advantage?
Yeah.
Oh, 11.
That's not that far. He's only a couple generations before you, being in about 1790s. He was a very famous. I mean, it's all folklore, right? It's not real. He hunted bad guys. He probably hunted murderers. People saying they were vampires. I mean, there's no such thing as actual vampires. Probably.
After everything I've seen in the past couple days, I'm starting to wonder if there's more truth to those folklores than I once gave credence to. So he was a hunter who seemed to specialize in vampires?
Yep. Vala stretches and she'll give you a nod and head out.
Have a good night.
Good evening. She kind of blinks a little bit as a small tiefling child runs by her.
Ah, the prodigal returns.
Yeah. Peggy will bounce up, sit in a chair next to you, kind of perk up, look around, and goes, "He looks sad." And she'll motion to Crimson, who's sitting at the bar.
She said he looks sad.
He looks sad.
That's because he's only on his first drink.
And drinking makes you happy?
Gideon opens his mouth, then presses his lips together. It makes you forgetful. All right, fine. Crimson, stop looking like a sad sack and come over here.
Crimson gives a deep sigh and walks over. Do you need something?
Company.
I think at that
And
point,
another beer.
At that point, Cecil and Danielle will have rushed in.
I'll raise my my empty mug towards Mac, and I nod, fully understanding that I will have to come and retrieve it myself. Or have a small child retrieve it for me.
Actually, the younger woman who was working at the wagon hitch actually walks in with you all. She gives a nod to Mac, dons an apron, and picks up a tray and begins moving through the room. Seems like she's pulling double duty.
Excellent. Not that Gideon would know. But as Cecil and Danielle walk in, I'll raise a hand and wave them over.
Cecil will have a very relieved look on his face when he realizes that Peggy is over there.
Right, so I need to find out how mind flayers are born.
The hell is a mind flayer?
And she will point, and you didn't notice it, Gideon, but there is a gentleman with a squid face playing an accordion with his squid face, and a guitar with his hands.
I think that would fully startle me to the point where I try to get up, but... So when Peggy bounced over, was she just standing beside the table, or she didn't, like, sit in my lap or anything, right?
She didn't sit in your lap, no. She jumped up onto she jumped up into the seat that Vala just left.
Okay, so I kind of, like, lunge to my feet, but trip over my chair and promptly take a tumble. Yo, God bloody hell! The shit is that?
I do like a some sort of check to see if I can grab his mug as he goes down.
Yeah, sure. Dexterity saving throw. To not spill the drink. Save the booze.
Oh, that mug is pretty much empty.
To save
was
the
just
I
mug.
didn't know that. I just walked in.
She's been dealing with us all afternoon. She needs it.
Danielle has top instincts around Gideon.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to get this dexterity as a check and it's like escaping me as I'm staring at my screen. It shouldn't be this hard.
Should be your dex plus your proficiency plus whatever a d20 is.
Ah, you said saving throw, right?
Yep. And rogues are proficient in saving throws. Or dexterity saving throws. No, that drink goes...
Nope.
What you're just kind of trying to reach out for it, but Gideon is not letting go of his mug, even if it is mostly empty. You don't go tumbling down with him, but you definitely have to correct for having tried to grab the mug out of Gideon's hand.
Obviously, I should have known better.
Peggy
Or slow-mo. No.
Peggy blinks at you both. So mind flayer is a creature. They eat brains. That one doesn't, though. He says he's a vegetarian.
What? How?
Cecil walks up. Yes. Sit down, my boy. Sit down. And he's taking him by the hand, and he's just sitting him, and then he's like plopping him down in the chair. Sit down. Have another drink. Have another drink.
What? What
Cecil's
I
like
want
snapping
to know
his fingers. He's like, can we have more drinks over here? More drinks.
So Gideon's got that expression of a dog who has found something like alarming that he keeps looking back, but Cecil is snapping and drawing his tension back, and he keeps going back and forth, and he's kind of confused and unsettled, and he he's heard stories of monsters, he's read about monsters, he knows about witches and ogres and even vampires, but
what in the world is that thing?
what the shit is that?
That's why Cecil's going, come on, come here, boy, have a drink. Here's the booze, who wants a booze? You want some booze,
The face and the plane.
Yes. Well, come on now, we've already heard him play. He's
Terror
delightful, you will like
brains.
it too. Yes, no, he doesn't eat brains, he plays music, and you'll love it, my lad, you'll love it.
So what they do is they
We can have some more alcohol here, I think it would be good for everyone.
yeah, a pitcher is brought
You
over with a
already-
couple of new mugs. It's just dropped off, and Peggy's like excited because Gideon seems interested in what she is saying. She's like, yeah, so what they do is they suckle onto your face and then they eat your brain back.
My lass, if we can just get a drink in him, I think we'll be fine, yes, sir. And
She
he's
just
like
starts-
pouring the cup and he's handing it to...
Yeah, I was just about to say, I picture Cecil pretty much just forcing this mug in his hand and up to his face, and Gideon's just gulping it down.
Peggy is making
there we go.
slurping noises unhelpfully.
There we go, there's a good boy, yes, take a little
Right.
trinket into the little hole.
All right,
There
fine.
That one's
All right,
that one's friendly though, so I'm gonna go ask him how mind flayers are made, and she's going to start bouncing away.
What?
Okay, now let's just listen to the music, and there we go.
I like half rise, and Cecil just like pushes me back in my seat.
That's right, let's just listen to the music,
Crimson is literally like had just got called over, is standing there, and as this whole thing's going on, he's just taking sips from his beer, watching, shaking his head back and forth, taking another sip, going,
Die.
"What the fuck
Is this
is
death?
going on?" This is not. Is this hell? Am I in hell?
Something like
Hell
It's
is
a
the-
definite possibility.
As you see, Peggy kind of bounces over. Another woman enters. This one kind of catches you, because she is deep red skinned, beautiful horns pulled, moving kind of up and away from her face. Deep red hair kind of pulled back into a fancy bun. Her horns are topped with some delicate gold chains and jewels. As she steps in and kind of looks everything over, she blinks at seeing the small tiefling child bouncing up to the mind flayer, and kind of looks around before moving to intercept.
Danielle is attempting to follow, but it's a lot more crowded in here than it was.
It is a lot more crowded. After a moment, the tiefling woman kind of carefully pushes Peggy back to the table. She is not yet old enough to know how mind flayers are made, and Clarence will definitely answer her.
I'm not old enough to know how mind flayers are made.
You know what? No, you are not. No one is old enough to know how mind flayers are made. Anyway, I am just returning her to you all, and she's gonna just insight check you all. Because Peggy is still rocking a straight up street urchin look.
Well, she and I might look very alike then.
Yeah, she looks at you and be like, alright.
Little professor force feeding the tall drunk alcohol, and
Right. So, Peggy, why don't you go ask Mac for a cookie? And she kind of scoots her away.
All right, that's enough, Cecil. I'm fine. Jeez.
So, how did you all end up with a small tiefling child? Because you look mostly... No, I mean, you don't look like any tieflings. Did you make a deal with a demon? A devil?
No, nothing like that. We
No,
actually rescued
never.
Rescue mission in a pocket dimension.
Rescue mission in a pocket dimension. Alright. And just took her with you, or...?
Oh,
well,
we're
she
hoping to
wasn't
eventually-
going to do very well there.
Yes, we're hoping to
Fair
eventually
enough.
find her family. That's the goal, but unfortunately, family is traveling, so we won't know until we actually come across them. I'm sorry, who are you?
She kind of gives you a smile and bows her head. Right, I'm Tilly. I'm an
Aunt
Nice to
Tilly?
meet you.
I'm an
I'm
apothecary.
Oh, yes. Oh, Cecil, you may call me Cecil, and this is Gideon, and this is Crimson, and Danielle, and you've met Peggy, and notice Cecil stumbled to not give his full name. He's getting better at that.
And you all are new in town.
Yes, we're all at the big
I
house.
think we've been in town for less than 24 hours at this point.
Okay, so you're the group.
Also, I didn't know tieflings existed until yesterday.
Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing.
I didn't know mind players existed until today.
So you're taking over for the daggers then?
I'm sorry, what?
The
Hello?
the adventuring party that was here before you all, but also before the lanterns. And it kind of overlaps. They get one and then another one and replace them.
Is that how it works?
She nods.
You mean there was another party in our house before us?
Yes.
What happened to them?
The same thing that happens to all adventurers. They either die or retire.
Now, see, I used to think that one of those was permanent, but recent events have told me otherwise.
Do you know of many that actually retire?
She nods. Some.
Oh, okay.
Some know to quit when they are ahead. I'd call it about 50-50.
That's something at least. Cecil kind of lost his color there for a second.
And of those that died, do you know many who stayed dead?
Eventually everyone stays dead. Or they move on to the next thing.
Oh, something to look forward to.
I mean, if you were ready to move on to the next life, I assumed you would have done it when you were offered the chance.
No, I don't want to think about that. It starts to drink again.
Right, well, I appreciate you pulling a fellow tiefling out of a tight spot. Do keep her away from Clarence. He will
They seem to
answer.
have gotten on rather swimmingly earlier. They were performing together.
He will answer all her questions, and you do not want to know the answers. You don't want to know the answers to those questions. She should not know the answers to those questions.
Yeah.
If you'd like, you can come by tomorrow and I will lend you a book on mind flayers, but I would not recommend.
I
The
will take
mind
a look on
flayers,
that
but
offer.
tips and tricks for tieflings? I'm not even sure of her dietary requirements, let alone anything else.
Dietary requirements? It's a little girl. She eats, well, he eats bread.
Does
What
she
are
eat
tieflings' dietary
vegetables?
requirements?
Same as most human children. They're mostly human. Tieflings come from when someone makes a deal with a demon and, you know, that shows up in your genealogy. Anyway,
That answers the first question.
by the way, you're new in town, so, and you look like you're easily panicked. Don't pay much attention to Griswold.
Griswold?
I'm sorry, what, Wald?
Miss Griswold?
Griswold, he's a gentleman outside. Just don't give much of what he says credence. You look like you're easily panicked.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Think?
She gives you a nod and she'll scoot away as Penny returns with a large chocolate chip cookie. Sits down at the table. Watches you all.
That looks very good.
She nods. She'll break off half of it and hand it to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll nibble at it.
So did
If
she...
you want another one, just let Mac know I have a tab.
So did she tell you?
I've been reliably informed that I'm too young to know the answer to that question.
I don't like that answer.
Sometimes
Honestly,
it's
I
the right
hear
answer, though.
Honestly, I hear it's incredibly boring. I mean, isn't that the way of things? If it's boring, then no one wants to talk about it.
That's...
All the interesting things everyone wants to talk about.
Roll a persuasion check.
I am not good at charisma.
Are any of you?
Oh, 17.
17. Okay, she seems to understand that. She's like, you're right. Everyone gossips about the interesting things. I'm gonna go listen. And then she ducks away from the table again.
She was gonna go where? Where's she going?
Listen to the music, I thought.
She said she's going to go. Everyone talks about interesting things. I'm going to go listen.
Ah.
And then ran away.
Gideon's well on the way to being drunk anyway.
So Cecil is actually totally fascinated by the chocolate chip cookie you're eating. Because I've just done a history check, and those weren't around when Cecil was around.
Really?
No, chocolate chip cookies are actually relatively
It's like a
recent.
1930s.
Yeah.
19. Wow, so Gideon doesn't even know what it is then.
No. It's a cookie.
Okay, yeah, so okay, cool. So then he really enjoys it. This is amazing.
What is that confectionery?
Well, it's like a biscuit, but someone's combined it with chocolate.
Magic in these lands is unfathomable.
Astonishing.
Dragons, there's biscuits with chocolate, there's people that
I love this
their
place.
penis with their face.
I don't want to leave this place. By this place, I mean this bar.
He's writing in his journal.
I don't think you have enough money to afford that, Gideon.
Oh, speaking of, there's a job board we can go to make more money to live at the bar.
That'll be tomorrow morning's problem. Or possibly early afternoon.
Yes, it sounds
Good
good.
thought, though.
How much do
Danielle
these
has
things cost? I want more of them.
Some of the chocolate bits, but
Danielle like melts back into the crowd to go follow the child.
Sure. It doesn't take very long before she's bouncing back to the table. I've heard so many things.
Interesting
anything?
things, scary things, or boring things.
Well, Gideon said people only talk about interesting things, so I bet they're interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
What kind of interesting things have you heard? And are there more cookies?
There are not more cookies, but I think I can talk to Mac about them. Anyway, so, I heard that if you put your horse in the stable here on the 13th of the month, you'll get a different horse back.
That is terribly interesting.
The hell?
I haven't a horse to try it with, but terribly interesting.
I also heard Mac is from the furthest point in the future and has seen the end of the world.
Wow.
And he's decided to open up a bar. That's what
Well,
I
we saw
do.
the end of the
What else are we
world.
gonna do except serve alcohol to everybody else? If that's how he knows about the cookies, he's more about it.
Danielle has no comment on the cookie.
Oh, right. These must come from somewhere in the future then. Oh, that's a smart idea. Future's
Also,
full of wonders.
there's a gentleman outside named Griswold. He said that the calamity is coming tomorrow. I don't know what a calamity is.
Amity.
Sounds
Generally something bad. Possibly the end of the world. Depends who you're talking to.
That happens pretty frequently if you believe the people on the street. Once every other week or so.
okay. Then that can't be that interesting if it happens every week.
Suppose it depends on what kind of calamity.
The end of the world happens every week?
Also, someone named Tilly is dating someone named Vala, and I don't know who either of those people are.
Gideon begins to choke on his cookie.
I just met Tilly. She's a tiefling like you. She's red.
Oh, her. Okay.
Are you going to make it, Gideon?
He's pounding his chest now. Reaching for the beer to try and wash it down.
Goes right for the Heimlich maneuver. Rips him right out of his seat and starts pumping his chest, trying to get
We met Tilly. Have we met Vala? Who's Vala?
Are you also dating Vala? Because that's I've seen that reaction before.
No! I'm fine.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
a quick one.
Well, I don't want you to choke and die, you know.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Crimson sits down in a chair and continues to sip his beer.
And Ferg is apparently a cleric of Serenray, but I don't know who that is.
We might have to ask Ferg.
She nods.
Do we know who Ferg is?
He's a big blue gentleman who got me dinner.
Ah, I didn't catch his name.
You know who Vala is?
She shakes her head.
Danielle is eyeing Gideon for a reaction.
Oh, he's back to his beer and is looking kind of furtive. I don't even think you need a check to know that he knows who Vala is.
Very well. You are quite the information gatherer. I don't think I could have gathered that much information on two expeditions alone in just one walk across a room.
You just have to be quiet and short and make sure no one pays attention to you. I can teach you.
I might take you up on that.
You-
Because I am short now. I
You've
was
al-
not short before, but
you-
I am short now.
You've already got the one down.
Yes, yes. Just gotta be quiet.
And be very good at looking like you're doing something completely innocent.
Cecil lifts his book up,
She nods.
looks over it.
That'll work.
It'll work as long as he's actually still paying attention to what's going on around him. Danielle's like smirking.
Well, it is getting late. We probably should start to head back.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. Big day tomorrow. Big day. What are we doing tomorrow?
Well, it will be some type of adventure, or I don't know,
Ah,
that
right.
board
Come on,
out you
man.
were talking about, and who knows, maybe we'll run into some of these people that young Miss Peggy got that information about. Who knows, maybe we'll run into Fergus or maybe that Vala even. Oh, I wonder if you talked to her about that Tilly person. You know, who knows?
Also, what's a Vistani?
Histani?
I don't think you all know. I should go find out.
Out
Maybe
of
we'll
curi-
find that one tomorrow.
Can I roll a check on the Vistani?
Sure.
I would wager history check.
At disadvantage.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Cat, no, leave that alone.
Toby would like to roll a history check.
If you'd like to play with my Warhammer models. All right, 12.
No, not a clue.
No. Oh, she's gone.
She'll bounce back a moment later. Okay.
Were you able to find out?
No, but she told me she'd tell me later, and she points to the waitress who gives you a nod, and she is quickly moving her way around the bar.
We'll check back with her tomorrow. She works at that food establishment, so maybe we'll all go there tomorrow and have something to eat.
She said they're making pancakes for breakfast.
When were pancakes invented?
I'm looking that up
Amazing.
right now.
Danielle is familiar with chocolate chip cookies because I had to look.
11 AD, 1100 AD. So yeah, we're
Okay.
You
good.
all know pancakes.
Pancakes have been around for a long time.
Actually, 600 BC, first recorded mention of pancakes.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Well, let us head back and plan for the morning.
I stand up a little wobbly. And from across the bar, I give Mac a thumbs up. Good job. And keep the change.
He gives you a nod.
Appreciate it. Right.
Just that picture of like Gideon just putting his hand on Cecil's head, using him like almost like a cane, kind of walk out of there is like a balancing.
So long as Cecil stays near to him, he probably would. Becky,
Young man, we really need to get you some type of a staff or a stick or something
that'd
of
be
some
nice.
sort.
Becky,
Yes?
be a good little girl and lead me back to the house. Things are a bit wobbly at the moment.
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
Starts pushing you from behind towards the house.
Yeah. All right, Gideon will is escorted outside on the way back to the house.
Okay. As you all find yourselves back at your house, Peggy instantly runs upstairs and steals a bathroom.
Gideon is going to wobble his way up to his room. Whee! So, the last time they were here, he ended up like falling asleep on the couch in front of the fireplace with a bottle of booze.
Mm-hmm.
This time, he actually goes up to his room. I guess he's mindful enough to like check the room first to make sure that he's alone up there.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's confirmed, he'll close and lock the door. And there's looks like a big cabinet here in front of the door, or next to the door.
Hold on. My thing just unplugged itself.
Oh no.
Oh. My headphones just died.
Oh shit.
I can't hear anybody. Give me a moment.
Ah, we're alone.
And you find a big chest of gold and lots of magical items.
They covered
The
under the
DM didn't say
stairs.
no, so
Try again.
That sounds suspiciously like
Nope.
loading batteries into something.
Joy. Okay, so I'm going to assume that Gideon is pushing the giant cabinet in front of the door
Yes, that
That's
is
the
actually
case.
exactly what he was
in order
planning
to
to do.
prevent anything that can happen. I might have to call game here because I do not have a working set of headphones anymore.
Oh no. Alrighty.
Yes, Sam, I did manage to check the connections. I'm not an idiot.
I'm just double checking. Can I double check?
Did you check your TCP/IP settings? You want this dog?
Okay, so I will say, as you all settle in for the evening, we will call it for tonight.
game.
Understood.
Because I can't hear anybody.
You can't hear me.
Alright, have a good night, everybody, and I will talk to you elsewhere in Instant Messengers. And we'll have new headphones here shortly.